Hey guys, Steven here. Today's video is really geared towards trainers. Saw something at the gym. They had a sheet that showed what their training prices were, and they were $70, and that's really expensive. And with that, what I've seen with a lot of the bigger gyms, their prices are really expensive. And for the most part, the trainer has like a NASM, right? They have like just a standard personal training certification, and their rates are really high. And what ends up happening, I see a lot of times, is that ends up kind of alienating them away from potential customers that can't afford that. And if they do get customers, I mean, the expectation for $70 is going to be really high. So I'm going to do a separate video talking about what my opinion is on all that. But with this one, it really, like I said, geared more towards the trainers. I think a lot of trainers aren't figuring out what they want their personal practice to be, meaning that they don't know who they want to train. It's kind of like, I want to train everybody. And with that, they'll try to train everybody. And at a certain point, they're going to do a disservice to somebody because they're not familiar with whatever it may be. For instance, I do kettlebell movements, but if you're going to come to me and you're like, well, I want to learn how to snatch and do a get up and I want to do a kettlebell swing and all those other things, I don't do that. I do that in my personal practice for myself, right? But I don't train people because I'm not certified and I'm not familiar enough. Even with the workshops that I've done with RKC and Strong First guys, and I have a client of mine that became RKC certified and I train with her, even with all of that, I'm not comfortable enough to then instruct somebody. Where I see a lot of people, they're just like, oh yeah, no, I saw a video, I know how to do it. It's a lot different when you go to one of these workshops, so you go and train with somebody that's actually certified. There's a lot more in-depth cueing that goes on that you end up missing out on and potentially hurting people because of that if you just decide that you're going to do a movement that you saw on a video or saw somebody else do. But with that, I don't do that. I don't do powerlifting. I'm not a power lifter. I know people that do those things, and I can then refer out to those people. So with my personal practice, I've focused more on I'm a medical exercise specialist, so dealing with what we call post-rehab when somebody leaves physical therapy. MoveNat certified, so dealing with natural movement patterns, parkour stuff. Just finished my GRIP approach one, which is Global Rehabilitation Injury Prevention, which is based off of developmental kinesiology. Oh, that's a testing system. I have a very clear understanding and view of what I want my practice to be, and with that, that's where I'm heading. I know the clientele that I want to work with and where I want to help. And unfortunately, I just see a lot of trainers that aren't doing that. And like I said, it ends up putting them kind of at odds with potential customers because they try to train anybody. And with that, on a long enough timeline, you're going to hurt somebody or somebody's going to feel like they're not getting the value that they're paying for when you have a steeper price point like that. So and that kind of goes along with this other video that I'll end up shooting, which is kind of if you're going to have a $70, $80, $60, $100, $120 price tag for your training, I mean, your service better be superb because it's an extremely high value to pay for somebody. And with that, they're going to want to know that the service is there, the knowledge is there. They're going to get the results that they're looking for with that. So big thing here, figure out what you want your practice to do. Sit down for a second, write it out. Right? Visualize it, figure out what that is, and then head in that direction. Versus you did your NASM, and now you're like, cool, I got it. I'm just going to chill. I'm never going to do anything beyond that, right? And if you do want to do that, and that's one of those things where, cool, if you want to do that, just don't complain that you're not getting customers or that you're struggling to get people to pay your higher rate, or you don't know what to do with a potential client or anything like that. Just because you're not putting in the work on the end of trying to get more certifications, doing workshops, doing research. And it doesn't have to just be that stuff. There's value in looking up some videos on YouTube and all of that. Just don't put all of your chips kind of in that pocket, that corner over there. Do the workshops. I mean, I tell people, trainers all the time, man, go like shadow somebody, like find a mentor. I've been fortunate to have a couple of them find people that can kind of help you, steer you right in the right direction, give you some insight, right? I've shadowed physical therapists. I had to do that for the medical exercise specialist certification. There's a tremendous amount of value in doing that, and do it for free. Like, just go say, hey man, can I watch? Can I ask questions? And unfortunately, in the personal training community, that's usually not done for some reason. It just seems like trainers think that they're going to have either that they're going to be stealing somebody else's client, or somebody's trying to steal their clients, or whatever it may be. You got to kind of leave that stuff behind, because if you build a really, really good network, you're going to get referrals just based off that. Dude, if you specialize in, got a guy, a buddy of mine who specializes in powerlifting. If somebody comes to me and is like, hey, I want to do some powerlifting stuff, I don't do that. I know a guy, right? I want to do RKC and like kettlebell stuff. I don't do that, but I know somebody. And you build that network with that. I want to do bodybuilding shows. I don't do bodybuilding shows, right? I don't have that experience, so I know people that's what they do. I want to do boxing. I know people that do that. And now I have this network that I can refer out, and it's the same way. I have people that end up getting referred to me because they're like, all right, I can't quite do what you're asking, but I know somebody that can. So just a video rant here for all the trainers out there. Like I said, take the time, especially if you've just done like your NASM, right? You just got done and you're like, okay, where do I go from here? Like, sit down, really clearly define what you want your practice to be, and head off in that direction. All right.